Hello.
I'm not positive if we're recording right now, but I think so. It says that it's streaming. So, Jason, check out my.
I
It's
am.
supposed to be on
I'm
YouTube
going.
also.
I beg your pardon?
I'm doing that at the moment.
Okay, just to see if we really are recording.
I don't see
always...
it streamed. I don't see how it's not showing live.
We have live on ours.
Well, ours says live, but we only see ourselves. We don't see you two.
The YouTube is not showing. Is it streaming to YouTube?
It's not on TV.
There we are.
Oh, I see
now.
you
Now can you see me?
I can see you, yes.
Okay. I see Jason up there with his little round face.
I don't see our stream on your YouTube though.
I don't see it either.
It's not streaming. Which is it going to?
Microphone and camera. New. Need help. Jessica is not helping.
At a source.
It says that we're live.
Oops.
Last week it didn't take any time at all to get on. And
they're on YouTube. And Sherry, which YouTube though? That's the better question.
Okay, I'll go look, Jason. I only got 2 channels.
Right, but I only seen one channel, so it must be going to the other one.
I got the after hours conversation.
Oh, I got people here. Here's Sherry Green. Yeah, we're live. Well, we fumble around. Yeah.
Yeah, but is it on the Willow's place or your other one?
Let me see, Jason. It's at After Hours with Willow Griffith. That one.
It's on After Hours.
It's not showing.
Other people got in. Oh.
Yeah, we're live on YouTube.
Restream. So we'll just have to figure out what we're doing here. I'm so glad you're still here.
Yeah.
And our poor darling Susan and Philip, they've been through the mill with this. And a whole hour we've been messing around. This is how we'll do it from now on. The heck with Zoom. I think Zoom had an upgrade, and it upgraded us clear into limbo is where it upgraded us. But Sherry, can you hear us, darling, clear? Got a feedback, huh?
It seems like it's about 12 to 15 milliseconds delay
processing.
So, no, it's like video delay, audio and video delay.
Okay.
It's about 15 milliseconds, which is about right around 720p.
Okay. So I guess what we'll do is just.
Yeah, she can hear us loud and clear. Like it's almost 25 milliseconds. I'm timing it now.
Okay.
You'll have to time it. It'll be about 30 seconds.
Okay, to wait for an answer from
anybody.
Yeah.
Well, You'll see the chat right away. However, it for her to get the response, or whoever asked the question, it'll be 30 seconds before they get that response.
Oh, okay. Okay. A response to their questions, right?
Right. So even if you're talking live right now,
yeah,
it'll take them 30 seconds for them to actually get that because of how the latency between our stream
I can see
and
the
what
chat really well, and I
right.
see Sherry's telling us it's slow for the text to come up. I have no idea how to change that.
It's like 30 seconds. It seems that's what it seems. About 30 seconds, roughly.
Yeah. Okay. Hello, everybody. We finally got on, regardless of how late we are. We had a terrible time with Zoom, and it was no fun. That's the only thing I could say. So I want to introduce you to two very lovely people I care about dearly. And they're both On Passive founders. And it's Phil and Susan Torres. And they're a member of our group. And they are absolutely ecstatic about On Passive. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to interview Susan and Phil and have him and her explain what they would like to do with On Passive when we launch and how they have enjoyed their journey so far. So Susan, who would like to go first?
I guess I'll go first. He didn't volunteer.
I saw him kind of giving you that.
Nudger.
But tell us about you. Tell us about your journey and everything.
You introduced this to us, and I actually got in on your recommendation because of your recommendation. So I got in, and then I did some research on it, and from the beginning until we got in 2019, and then until now, boy, have things changed, grown. It's just mind-boggling, all the things that this company is going to do. And the most amazing thing I feel is Bless.
Oh, yes.
There's going to be terrific tools we can use, but Bless is just another way of helping people. We have always in our life donated our time and money and resources to help others, from coaching to being on boards, and we've always.
That's what you were doing when I met you. You were both so active in your community and everything. I thought, oh my God, they're going to be a marvelous asset, and you are.
Yeah, we've always, and since we've moved from Southern California to Northern California, we retired, and so we don't know very many people around here. But boy, there's a huge need around here.
Yes.
For help, and it's since the pandemic. I was amazed at how long the food line was for people getting donations. I just,
they're hurting all over, Susan.
Yeah.
I wanted to say a little bit about On Passive while we were talking to you, because I forgot to do the intro I had planned to do. I kind of am blowing it here. But On Passive, you're talking about the growth from when you started and I started until now. It's like two different animals. It is not the same company that we started with, because it had nothing like what we have now. And so it was so exciting. The journey for me was so exciting because we were learning right along the way with you. All of us were. But what is happening right now with Bless, to me, is a game changer. You know, we had no clue that we were going to have anything like that, Susan. So I kind of I wanted to interject there to say that we started out with a little company that was maybe going to show us how to make a nominal living online, you know, like we had a second job, to something that is absolutely spectacular, that all of us are kind of, our jaws are dropping. We don't know how to handle it, you know, right away. But please continue with where you guys, I know Old Bless is your baby. But I think that you are going to, we're hearing that it is very staticky. Sherry's telling me. She says it's slow and staticky. So hopefully this will clear up. It could be, is it more mine, Jason, or staticky, or is it the whole?
Yeah, their audio came in kind of staticky a little bit, so I'm not entirely sure.
Is it clearing up?
No, it's just Susan, and
Susan's is a little staticky. Don't worry about it, Susan. We'll get through this night, and then I'm gonna be on my computer from dawn to dusk tomorrow to get this straightened out. But I think this will work much better in Zoom. Zoom has become very erratic, and until we get O Connect, I think we're gonna have to put up with that stuff.
I'm looking forward to O Connect.
Yes, me too. Oh, hallelujah. There's going to be big changes as, thank you, Sherry. I appreciate that. One of the things I wanted to tell you about,
as am I,
is, you're coming in. Sherry says, this is Mercury retrograde. You got that right.
Yeah.
We were all saying that today. So, the only bad thing about this with Restream, I haven't figured out how to share screens. Like if we want to show presentations and things of that nature, I don't know how to do that yet, but we will. By the time I get finished tonight, I'll know what the heck to do, one way or another. But
well, I'll show you how to do that. No, down at the bottom of the studio.
Okay.
There, I can explain to you.
I can exit full screen, right? I mean, exit full screen.
In the middle, there's a exit to full screen, and then right below where our video is on this studio, there's the microphone. There's enable camera, and you can hit share screen. Okay. And when you click on this share screen, you can either do your entire screen or the entire screen.
Or part.
You can do the application window or whatever tab that you've got open.
Yeah, I got it. I see it now, Jason. Thank you. Well, we're not going to be doing any of that.
Application window.
Yeah, but I am going to be referring to some documentation I have about innovation labs. And I was so impressed after I had talked to Ash this week. We had talked to Ash, on the broadcast, Susan. It takes a decoder to decode Ash, but I didn't know what he was talking about with the labs, and so I decided that I would do research into it, and I did. And then it clicked with me because I knew what he was talking about. It was absolutely innovative, and I knew that this was something that was going to revolutionize the darn world, really, because it's a way of doing business, and it helps organizations connect with talented people across the globe. You can have an innovation lab in every city and state across the world, and what they are like is like little think tanks that work out problems for a corporation and provide solutions and things of that nature. And it is used. Even Harvard teaches innovation classes. You know, they're Harvard and Yale. Both of them teach innovation studies now. How to conduct. What makes an innovation lab? What it means. You know, what kind of people you hire for it. So there's extensive information on Google about innovation labs. I highly recommend. Excuse me, please. I'm so rattled tonight, I can't even get my voice straight. Lord, but I'm getting better. Sherry, stick with us, darling. I love you. I'm so proud of you not giving up on us tonight. Anyway,
Thank you.
The innovation labs were one of the things he talked about, but I kind of want to tell everybody. He did let us know that we definitely were moving into a phase of completely shutting down founder positions, where there would be no more founder positions. And so I felt the urgency to get on and really start letting people know that if they were sitting on the fence, for God's sakes, get off the fence now, because now is the time. And he didn't give us a date, but it appears it's going to be, you know, probably by the end of the week. And so I thought, I really want to do one live stream that's coherent, you know, so I tried to get it through Zoom so that people could join us. It didn't work out that way. So it works very good with Restream. And as soon as I learn what I'm doing, it'll be even much better. But I'm going to talk a little bit for everybody that doesn't know about OnPassive. I'm going to discuss a little bit about what it is and what OnPassive can do for you. And it has been really hard to get information from people out there about, you know, I'll ask people if I introduce them to OnPassive, what do they think OnPassive is? You know, even though we have all this documentation out there, it's flooding the internet. We're becoming a really big force out there. But a lot of people just don't grasp what exactly is OnPassive. You know, they don't understand the breadth of it. It's going to change the world in ways that people cannot believe, especially with our favorite product they produce, Susan, and that's Oh Bless, and it's going to be free. People will be able to sign up to that freely, and it is going to take the world by storm because it is such an innovative product. It is a way to do crowdfunding, and you know that the people that are requesting it are going to receive it, and Ash is planning on not taking a nickel of money. If you go on YouTube, on Facebook, and you do a crowdfunding project for someone, you know, it's usually about 20% you lose.
Yeah.
Or 25%. Not with Oh Bless. You're going to be able, they're going to drive traffic. They're going to drive, and by traffic, I mean customers to your project. You're going to have domain names that list you and your project. It's going to be so wonderful that we can't hardly hold our breath anymore. We think, oh, I want to help the guy down the street or this person and homeless people, and we have these lists. And Chris Johnson is Ash calls him our Mother Teresa, and he is like Mother Teresa. He cares so much about poverty. Sherry in chat said that a friend of hers raised $18,500 to buy a homeless man a van with another crowdfunding company, and they took $4,200 of that. That's the cut out there that they take with crowdfunding. Ash is not going to take a dime. Oh, on passive is not going to charge a dime, and if he gets very irate if he thinks people are going to, misuse that, it's watched very carefully that that is not abused. And so when you collect $18,000 like Sherry's friend did, the recipient gets it all. It goes to whoever you're dealing with. So that is absolutely marvelous to me. There's so many things we can do. And with On Passive, we're going to have an On Passive marketplace where everyone that joins On Passive and uses their products can purchase merchandise, and it's going to be huge across the world. It's going to be a marketplace of the world. And in such, we can put out our projects for Obless there and just say, we're so closely knit as a family and On Passive. All of our founders are real close together, and we have 1,300,000 founders. So if you got $1 from every founder that's out there for your project, and if you write what On Passive does, it creates your story for you about them. It helps you put out the material, produce it, and everything is push button. And Sherry says On Passive is the world changer. My God, girl, with Obless, it's absolutely going to be. So, but if you put it out and if you put your small business out in the marketplace, my God, you're going to be swamped with customers. And so, Jason, honey, you could tell me, you could use your voicemail for that. He said most of the crowdfunding companies take advantage of the funds being generated as upon agreement using their services. You are charged for advertising or whatever they add on the fly. And that's another thing too. Ash does it all for you in On Passive. So Obless is going to be a blessing to the world. And that's why Ash created On Passive, was because of his need to help those that are, well, I don't like to say the word needy, but are unfortunate or homeless or out there. And it could be like people that in California, for example, they lost everything in the fires, everything. Yeah. And they're still living in tents. So, we can create Obless accounts for the people, individual people.
Yeah, a lot of
Go ahead, Susan.
A lot of near Northern California.
Oh, you're jiggly. Go again.
The fires occurred near us in Northern California.
Right.
So there's a lot of need here.
Yeah, and there's a lot of PG&E is gouging people with their services too. They won't come in, they won't change, they won't charge. If you're in a fire zone, you get this bad things going on there that Obless can help with. Jason, Sherry, I want you to meet my son Jason. He's the one that posted it on the screen. We're going to see in the next few weeks an absolute mass change coming about when we start using the products of On Passive as founders even. We've been testing them, but when we can put them out there for sale for people, it is going to be spectacular. You're not, right now, Jason is asking if maybe if you disconnect your mic and reconnect it, it might make it clear, Susan.
Okay, let me figure that out.
You're just a little shaky. I want you to talk to me more about what you want to do and what problems you have, with getting information. We're all pretty knowledgeable, those of us that have been in for a long time, because we grew along with On Passive. But the new people coming in are not, they have to know about what On Passive can do for them. And I'm telling you, it's a game changer, and it's going to do a lot for people that they have no clue. They think they're just getting in for, a small fee. And it's true. When a person joins Old Founders, you just pay one time a fee of $97 plus $5 for your credit, usually credit card use. And so it's usually about $102. And you will have one other charge once it launches, and they're not. And Ashes is keeping that cost low. It's going to be. We're not really.
I can't hear anything.
We're not really knowing exactly what that's going to be, but it's going to be under what they speculated before, much more. And I don't even want to go there. It's somewhere between 100 and 250. And each customer will become a customer or a founder, once it launches, will become a reseller by choice if they want to. They don't have to, but if they don't, they're foolish. That's where you're going to get paid. And because On Passive is the last business you will ever need. Literally, you will never need anything else, because you have your domain names are provided, you have your global leaders, you have VPNs, you have liquid responsive designs and website builders and digital marketing. You've got a daily funnel and viral sharing. You've got everything to take care of your business that you will ever need. If you own your own business, it really is terrific too, because as a founder, you're backed by an AI IT company with everything needed to create, manage, and it can grow your high-tech online presence. It's a perfect business. But I kind of think, since On Passive is all done for you, and as a founder, most all of us are going to become resellers. If we have any brains, we'll become resellers, that other businesses are going to be moved. You're just not going to want to do another business. And so because of the need for the products that On Passive is going to share with the world, it's going to be push and plug in kind of thing. And Ash said he's going to make it so easy that, a child can use it. So people like seniors like me won't have the problems with the what I had tonight with Zoom, for example.
Yeah, with going in and out of other product apps.
Yes. And not having to use other apps. You don't have to buy other apps when you join On Passive. It's got everything. You don't have to have WhatsApp. They've got a way that you can do what you have to do with your business inclusive. It's all done, and it's all interconnected. Like OConnect, for one of the products that is similar to Zoom, connects with all the other products. So you can use OConnect with them interchangeably, in and out of OConnect into your back office. All of that is combined beautifully well. So we're going to see a lot of people that have been struggling online all of a sudden finding solutions at the touch of a button. So we're sitting in a good position, and I am so excited. I can hardly believe it. That's why I decided I wanted to bring my people that are in my downline on. So I did a Zoom today. Zoom was working kind of, but it wasn't that sharp. And we had a webinar. And so I thought, well, I'll take it live. And I did all the right things, but Zoom did not cooperate. So I'm going to Restream right now. And Restream is a system of live streaming. A lot of the gamers use Restream. They use it for their programs on Twitch and stuff like that, because you can do a lot with this. I've got bare bones now. This is just the entry level. I didn't purchase the high profile where it's got all the bells and whistles, and I probably will have to if I'm going to continue to use it. However, it's sufficient for me. I just want to broadcast. I really don't want too much more. I'm not a gamer, but my son is, and he probably will use it for a different purpose, than I will. But I tell you, it's so much. Even they're more high tech than Zoom. Restream is much more refined. Their studio's much easier to use. Nicer people interact with you. They're human beings. They're not robots. And so I like this. I like that system. So if I refine it, I'll go ahead and I will upgrade, because if, according to Ashla, we probably want to Zoom. On passive launches, we won't want to have any of it. We probably won't need it. But for now, all of us do. If you want to create a YouTube presence, and that's what I want to encourage everybody to do, is to do that now. You need to be seen, and you need to explain what your role is on passive and what you've been doing. Like, I know you and Philip, you've even been going door to door and taking the message out there manually, and bringing people together. And that is absolutely fantastic. We have a lady on the Leadership Council, which you're probably familiar with, Julie. She is in California, and they have meetups all the time. They have meetups, and Ash really encourages that, to meet your community, to see the needs of your community. And so I hope you'll do that, Susan and Phil, more of it, because that's where it's at. You may not decide to settle there for the rest of your life, and I kind of hope you don't. You're right under that dam that worries me to death. But still learning the process of taking, you could, in your area, you could easily, as industrious as you are, you can become a global leader in your community. And that is what I would love to see. See both of you blossom into something, because both of you have leadership capabilities and have been leaders all your life. You've been doing things for others all your life. And also, I hope you get in Chris Johnson's program, the Old Bless Project, because that's where my heart is. I can hardly wait. Chris has I think two webinars a week, but I'm not quite sure on what days. But I'll find that out for everybody so I can post the webinars that are coming up. And he asked, people that want to help with Old Bless and get it started, to fill out a simple form that Julie has put in the back office. So you might want to do that, Susan and Phil, to go in there and fill it out. Where were you guys originally from? You know that I love your daughter, and you told me today that you guys are coming together as a unit. You'll have your grandson. Yeah. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome, darling. I'm glad you got in. We had a devil of a time getting this set up tonight. I'm glad you're here. Oh, Shelley says, please tell me more about Susan and Philip. So I feel like
We're originally from Oxnard.
Oxnard.
From Oxnard. Then we moved here to Oroville, Northern California.
Where it's quieter, huh? Not
Yeah.
quite so busy.
A lot quieter, slower pace.
No LA traffic.
Yeah, that's what I loved about Northern. I'm a native Northern Californian, but I live in West Virginia now. I wouldn't trade it, I don't think. There is a great deal of interest in California for On Passive. And I think what I'm going to do, what I'd like you to do for me, I want you to get your, you sent me your I lost the words here.
Link?
You know, the link for where you can sign people up. So when this is over, I'm going to put in our back office, in our YouTube links, where they can reach you and Philip if they want to decide to join your group. And I want you to take advantage of it. Everything's well here with us, Jennifer and Sherry. You're my long visitors since it took us an hour to get on. Everybody here had to go home, I think. But I remember, Phil, when I first got to know you, you were working on a project and were so enthusiastic about it, you know, and you were helping others then, even before On Passive became a reality. So I know that you're going to be big names when it comes to creating Oh Blessed projects. So tell us about your family. I know you brought your family in too as founders.
Well, both of our sons are electricians, and my daughter's she's out of the Navy, and her husband's just out of the Navy. But
you got a head start on rebuilding your dynasty there with electricians and people that are skilled. And that's the way I am. My husband and my son's an electrician, and they're a carpenter, and they can do all these other things.
Well, there's a lot of things happening here in California that they're doing. They're like, I work for the California Youth Authority.
Oh, yeah. I did.
They're closing that down. They're going to close, and there's going to be a lot of kids running around on the street, and a lot of, the homeless around here it's out of control.
It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
Then many years ago, they closed down the mental institutions, and and there's so much of a need to help the people that
You're right.
that are living on the streets. That's one thing we want to find is a way to help them. And so we've come up with different ideas that we're throwing out there that we'd like to, the prisoners used to have camps to help rehabilitate, and it seems like they're closing most of those down.
Jason, what was the name of that camp that everybody? It wasn't a camp, but they took that away too. Remember that you got involved with for a while when you were young? Jason?
You mean JTPA?
Yeah.
Job Training Partnership Act?
You remember that JTPA still they used to have for young
they used
people?
To.
Now they have the California Conservation Corps that they're doing the training for the firefighters now.
Yeah, but isn't that combined with Department of Corrections also?
Yes, they had the California Youth Authority. What they did is they took the adult division and the juvenile division and put it all together.
Yeah.
And so the juveniles and the adults were working in camps, but now that
the Job Training Partnership Act really was teaching kids how to get a job.
Yeah.
And they've taken all that away out of our schools. They don't even have shop in schools.
Yeah.
A lot of the schools got rid of. They even got rid of freshman sports and.
And bands and
Yeah.
things like that. If you want to get your kids to the band, you got to buy instruments. You got to do all things. People don't have the money, and so consequently, like drama or anything, that was taken out of all the public schools too. So there's going to be
dumbing down the kids too as well.
We're not gonna be political.
I'm just saying, a lot of the children that I've met lately, I'm like, really?
Yeah, well, there's a big need for on passes in areas like that, Phil. And I'm so glad you're on board.
Phil had a really good idea about the camps that are closing down in California, that perhaps it could be open for lower risk people who don't necessarily can fit in the community or can't handle, but they have some place that they could go that they're not necessarily locked up. They have supervision, they have food, they have counseling, and they're beautiful.
Some of those camps are out there in beautiful, beautiful places.
Pristine conditions too. I know in JTPA they had all that too. And it seemed like the people just got tired and they moved toward more about their taxes and all of this. And they just let those things go for their youth, for the younger people. But I was talking on one of the webinars where I said Jason and I wanted to create a school for the trades to learn how to be an electrician, to learn how to get certified, to learn how to do plastering and wall board and all of that, and give the kids a trade here. They don't have anything here in West Virginia. That is.
Yeah, they need to have, because college isn't for everybody. So it'd be nice if the junior colleges or something offered these shop classes and, all the, what was that?
Well, they do have some sort of trade schools, but they're associated with the school systems, but they're very limited in that sense, where they'll teach the children to an extent, but if you want to pursue that even further, then you have to get more licensing or go to an apprenticeship trade school.
Yeah,
which costs money.
Which is very expensive, especially if you go with some of these other ones, or that you go into the union, and the union's apprenticeship program is 5 years.
Right. That's what you went through, huh, Jason? You went into the.
No, I went into. I can't even remember what that other place was. I got kicked out of for fighting.
Oh, you don't want to tell all our secrets.
I just can't remember what it was. I can't remember what it was called. Oh, Job Corps. That's what it was called.
That was
a fluke. Now I'll tell you.
Don't badmouth him. We can't.
No, I'm not bad mouthing them, but they had a really good program, but their execution was poor. Yeah. I mean, they had a really great idea. They took inner city kids, country kids and everything, and all mashed them together. And of course, you're going to have problems. You're going to have that. You're going to have racial problems. You're going to have like discrepancies in different people and so on and so forth. But over time, they both learn to work with each other, and they learn trade skills like plumbing, like being a boiler maker, being a welder, or carpenter, electrician, or they had like art studios where you can be, and they also taught kids there. So they had high school in there or GED equivalent.
Yeah, but they closed that down, Jason, and that's what Phil was saying. It really would be great if we could take those facilities, buy them from the state, with a crowdfunding thing, say, hey, I want to buy this, and this is the crowdfunding project I'm going to have, and I have to have upfront money for startup. That would be perfect, Phil. I want to tell you, Jennifer gave us Tuesday at 9,
Oh, bless.
9 Eastern Standard Time is when Bless's webinar is on, she said. Is that, does he have a program in the morning and at night too, Jennifer? I know that I go to them all the time. I think the 2 that I've been have been in the evening, but I will get all that information. And Susan, when you come back, we'll have it, next week when we get together. I'm going to try to do 3 times a week if I can get this studio working good, and so we don't have
Is
to
our
worry
sound a
about it.
little better?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
Yes, you do. Anyway, Philip, when you worked with law enforcement, and I did, I was in the California Department of Corrections for a number of years.
Yeah.
And at that time, the people that we were counseling within the institutions were kids that had no place to go. I started in juvenile. In juvenile, the juvie, those are the most dangerous kids in the world after they come out of juvenile hall.
Yes.
And so they just learn how to get worse, Sherry was saying she pulled her kids out of public school, and there's a lot of them, Sherry, that are doing that right now. And it's on passive is going to change people's bottom line to a certain degree and give them hope. And when you have hope and you have love in your heart, you can do a great deal of things. And I think that we're going to be so benefited by Bless, especially with people like you. I've known you for quite a while, and I absolutely adore you. But I want the world to know what Susan and Philip does on a daily basis for people too. And I know that your sister Marcia is the same way. She has an outreach to people in need that is amazing, and all of your children are absolutely gorgeous and wonderful. Naomi and I are friends, and I adore her and her new baby. And that's the way On Passive is. We've got families of people that are joined together at the hip, and we're unstoppable. And
I really think On Passive is going to be a big community, a loving community.
I do too. And I think it's not going to stop when it launches. Everybody was kind of afraid that when we launched, we'd all just separate and go our ways. Some of that's going to happen. But mostly, I think those of us that have bonded through this last 3.5 years, I never want to lose sight of these people that I met. Never, ever want to. I can't think of one time that I spent $102 that I blew $102, that I could actually say that was the best thing I ever did in my life. I thought when I entered, oh, there goes my husband again. He's out looking for something on MLM. And I fought joining it until I thought, okay, Jason and John, I'll do it. And I've never looked back since, because I could see what we were evolving into, and it was absolutely unbelievable. And I talked to my daughter, and she's not totally on board yet. And so she says, "Mom, it sounds like a cult." And I said, everything's a cult, but I have not seen one kind of cultish activity ever in On Passive. Ash is not asking us for money every day. Yeah. We don't have to spend anything unless we want to on our own self, not on Passive. And a lot of people say, well, I'll have these reoccurring, costs. Of course, you can't get in a major business, be a part owner of it, and not have upfront costs, Yeah. But it's minimal, absolutely minimal. It's something like you go out to eat once a week. It would be more than what you would be paying for your continuing involvement within On Passive after it launches. So Ash explains that your business will pay for your continuing costs too. You're not going to, you're only going to be out of pocket once,
Yeah,
and
that's awesome. It's
And-
just so
And
amazing.
the nice thing is he's going to keep building and building
Yeah.
and building. That's what's
absolutely,
make
like
this business
we
big.
were talking about that today, you and I, and when we were trying to get Zoom to work. One of the things that I find absolutely positive with you and your wife, Philip, was from the onset. You've been in here almost 3 years too, along with me. From the onset, out of your mouths, I never heard a complaint that was not valid. Something you didn't understand and you weren't getting enough information about was the only thing you ever complained about on passive. But you never complained about the money or that you had to wait, because we got so wrapped in the process that's minor compared to what we're going to get. It's just really minor what we're going to achieve.
If you think about it too, where it started, it was going to be great, but it was going to be not as huge as it developed into now. So
Yeah.
it's just snowballing, and he's got to make everything, just so, and put it out there, something that works.
In a way, he has to, of course, start selling, because he'll go, belly up too if he doesn't have Thank you, Jennifer. I think Chris does have his live in the morning, and I go to it after Marty. So it's after 12 o'clock. Thanks, honey, for that info. Your children are very accomplished in their own rights, but the fact that they're going to be on passive recipients, you can rest a whole lot easier going to people and more about you. But I can rest a whole lot easier knowing my kids are going to be taken care of.
Yeah.
And so, even if they're coming into on passive kicking and screaming, I say, I don't want to do this, Mom. I said, you're in, whether you like it or not.
Well, they see it every day because I have it on the back of my car, my on-passive logo.
Now we have shirts.
And now they see it on my shirt. So
I wish they could see your shirt clear. It's really cute. And she's got an on-passive shirt that says on-passive on it, That is so wonderful, Susan. I'm so proud of you. I'm proud that
But we went out, I think a couple years ago, and got the on-passive logo and put it on the back of our car, and everywhere we go now, driving to Washington or wherever we go, we got the on-passive logo on the back.
And he was passing out business cards everywhere
we go.
I
even if they don't
the
join,
business card. Yeah.
well, even if they don't become a founder, we figured that's going to get the name out there anyway. So
And they're going to know you guys. They're going to firsthand know what you do. And that's going to bring them in, to the business, not necessarily to become a founder. Because
Right.
Ash tells us all the time, not everybody's a founder.
Yeah.
But we're going to have business. They're going to connect with our business. Everybody's going to need on passive. It's not going to be selective that you're not going to be able to be on the internet and not be using on passive. You're just not.
That's awesome.
So I'm excited about that. But I think our kids, what Jason's plans are, and my daughter's plans in California, and she's very much into her church, and she learns a lot. She uses Zoom all the time, and she's looking forward to using OConnect. So we're excited for her because they have a huge outreach program. I mean, even every Sunday, she takes communion to elderly members of their group. And Zoom is very lacking in interconnection. I mean, I think they say that they're integrated, but they're not. And so when she gets OConnect, she's just going to celebrate to the rafters. And same with my granddaughter. So I want to look for a future where my kids don't have to work 3 jobs to feed their family.
Yeah.
That they can retire with their full amount of money that they've been earning every month without losing their 401 half of it, 2 weeks before you retire. That's a
Well,
good.
I think you, just like us, I think we've instilled the giving and helping to our children so that they can continue that as well.
Well, you know what? I think our kids are, they're bound to pick up on what we're doing because we're setting the example of the way the world should be by joining on passive. And they might not see it totally now, but when they have kids of their own, when they start, moving out into the workplace, they're going to find out you cannot make as much working 9 to 5 out there than you can with on passive. And I'm not I'm just, numbers don't lie. The sheer volume of people that we have as founders is telling. That's going to show you what when we launch, what the traffic's going to be like. It's going to be enormous, and we're all going to profit from it. It's going to be a way of profit.
I'm believing it before I see it, so therefore I'm going to manifest it.
You bet.
That'd be great.
I've been manifesting big time. I think that we should learn from our past, but I don't think we should dwell on our past.
Yeah.
I think we have to manifest a new beginning, and in it, it's going to be on passive, and we're going to have to adjust. Dealing with troubled kids that have grown up in the other communities. Sherry works with troubled children all the time. She's in our chat, Sherry Green. And, when you work with people that are negative and harmed, their spirits are harmed, you've got to start from scratch there because and one of the things you do is, because if you're a sensitive like Sherry and I and you, and you're empathic, you were talking about going in the store and feeling all the negativity, we're going to have to adapt to a new way of life if we want to lift up our children's lives. And I think that on passive is the only logical way to be there. And I want to reiterate, if you have not joined, I will have a link, maybe by tomorrow, in my YouTube channel, where you can either contact me or you can contact Phil and Susan if you want to join their group and get in. That's all I got to. I deal with battered women every day. And I told them, the only good thing you can do for yourself is to get in where you can make a living without having to abandon your children to a daycare center right now, because daycare centers are not safe anymore. None of the restrictions that they used to have are even there anymore. They get away with murder.
That's scary.
And if I had a child, they wouldn't be in public school, a baby, public school, or they wouldn't be at a daycare center.
Yeah, that's why my daughter's moving near us too, so we can, because she wants to go back to school. She has her AA, but she wants to go back to get a bachelor's, and he wants to go to school. He is going to start at school, so that way we can help. And
with extended families used to be a way of life, and they kind of got out of that. But COVID has brought us back to the importance of staying connected with family. If nothing else, our economy is in the dumps now due to manipulation of our government primarily. But the high inflation, you can't afford to go to work anymore. Just driving with gas, spending the money on gas and clothes and everything else. The cost of clothes, like on Amazon, is astronomical, for a shirt. And so they're going to have to shift their priorities, and they're going to have to learn a new way of adjusting. And I think the one way they're going to do it is, like Jennifer says in our chat, that All Passive is a movement of kind-hearted people, and they want to make a difference in the world. And you're an example of that.
Yeah. It's like like-minded. He's attracted like-minded people, which is something else.
He has. I know that there's a lot of people out there with a lot more knowledge than I have about technology nowadays. I know some things, but not a lot, you know. But what he's done is taken that into effect, that anybody can use his products, anybody. And having said that, like Sherry says, it's like moving into a new dimension. And Sherry was saying she had $1,400 taken out of her last paycheck. Oh my God, Sherry, that's unreal.
Sherry, you in California?
She is, I think. Are you, Sherry? But she's worked all her life. I know her and I love her, and I'm going to have her on to interview, and I want her to be one of my co-hosts too. So, but she's worked all her life too. She's an example of good, kind, loving people that have helped other people all their lives, you know. And now when COVID hit us, it is
Canada.
People are losing their loved ones. They can't even see them before they die, and you know, things like that. My son, not my son, my grandson is in the medical field, like Key Wendell is, you know, one of our other leadership council members. There's going to be a change in the medical, and I think Ash is going to be on top of that to give us a way to, you know, to save our money, invest our money, do what we have to do. He's going to have instructions in O Academy for that, you know, where we can, we as founders, they're going to have, O Academy is absolutely astounding. Absolutely astounding. And you got to remember, Jennifer said, you know, the taxes are so high that everything we do, not everything, but most everything we do using OBLES is a tax deduction. You know, we get tax deductions for contributing to projects for the poor. And so that's going to help us with our taxes too. They all kind of meld together. You know, one deflects another. We may have high taxes because we're getting paid higher wages, but we'll have a way to deflect those taxes into projects that we want to see happen. And we won't have to depend on the government to provide them for us. You know, like Philip said, they shut down all the good programs, so we can create new programs back that will promote and help children, and because they're our future. And if we don't give them a background of goodness and kindness and caring, I was absolutely in tears this week over that boy, just barely 18, that shot up Buffalo Market over racist bigotry. I saw him when he went to court, and I got on my knees. I was in tears that he was somebody's baby. And he looked like a baby to me, you know, at being 81 years old. And I knew if he had killed one of my family members, I might not have been so compassionate, but all I could do was cry for his soul, because he really was in the dark. He didn't know what he was doing. And they don't have mental care for people anymore to help them. Like I have another one that's one of our founders in my team whose son is schizophrenic, and they can't get any help anywhere, and they're terrified of him. He's got very violent. So the program that we used to have, Ronald Reagan took away during his reign in California, like the mental health programs. And Ash has talked about that, but just briefly, about what we can do as a group, to create better health programs for people, especially mental health with the impoverished and the homeless. That's a whole other ball game that we have to look into. That's why Chris was looking for social workers and people that have had some effect on people in the mainstream. And Elizabeth Knackfor, she's on our team, Susan, one of ours in our levels. Of course, we're all one team, but I mean, she came in when we did, Susan Knackfor, and she's a psychologist, and she's got other degrees. I don't know what all she does, but she was so excited about on passive. She says, I so much want to get off the street working with government programs because they just have not been working.
Yeah.
And she says, we have to follow guidelines. And I felt that way when I was in, had a practice.
And they close all these programs, the camps and stuff, and they just let them go to waste.
Yeah, they let
the
them
buildings rot and don't use them, so.
Well, young minds can be hijacked really easy. There's influential troublemakers out there that can impact a young mind. This boy was brainwashed. I don't care what anybody said. I looked at his soul. He was innocent child. When he turned 14, some switch went on either at his home or in his community or in public schools. But he literally was brainwashed, and some of the brainwashing probably occurred online too. There's a lot of online influence, but I'm telling you, there are things we can do about that where they get counseling. And that's what I think you and Phil are going to play a big part in your community. And I'm hoping we will find others like Sherry, who has the same background. Well, Sherry, you have a very similar background to me, don't you, honey, in law enforcement and counseling and all of that. I don't know exactly all, but we'll have you on and you've got to tell us everything, that you've been doing too. And she said she has founders underneath her from California. Sherry does. So you might want to hook up with her. And Jennifer, you're in Canada, aren't you, darling? Oh, no, Sherry's in Canada too. She's not in the United States. It's the same thing all over the world. We're all the same.
Yeah, and they have all the same problems we have.
And all the same problems, yes. She said the system I work in is so broken and it's very hard to be working in it. Looking forward to on passive so that I can get out and do what I'm here to do. And that's the way I feel too. And I think you and Philip are the same way. You have this burning desire to see a change in the system, and now we're going to get the tools to do so. I have kept you up for 5 or 6 hours. So I'm not going to go too much longer tonight because I got to find a way that we can do this properly, because I'm going to stream again in a couple days. And I think I will use this platform to interview the different people that are coming in. And Susan, if you will remain a co-host and Philip with me, I would be so excited to have you back. And, and we can create our own groups of people that are doing impressive things with on passive. That's what I want. I want to be able to be a little more freer with our topics, but I'm one that my son is. we get talking and we are liable to go off of topic very easy. And not only that, we're not disciplined people when it comes to sharing. And if I don't like the government, I'm liable to talk about the government and allow them to. I need somebody that'll say, no, Willow, don't you go there. I started doing Jason. I said, don't go there. We can get lots of hot water. So but I do want it to be free to talk about what you want to do with On Passive. And I think as you progress and you find, I'd like to see you get in the Old Bless program, because Chris's group is coming up with some ideas that are spectacular. Last week, when I went to one of the meetings, there were three ladies. One is Jane Helms, I believe is her first name, Jane Helms. And another lady, they created this list of things that they wanted to put in the back office that people could do for On Passive. Projects you could work on and stuff, and have it on a calendar that people can go there and say, hey, I'm doing this, and check it off, and I'm doing that, and check. It was a brilliant idea. Mm-hmm. So they're coming up with a multitude of ways in small pieces to change the system. Even before we launch, they're already thinking like on Oh Blessers. They're already thinking of ways to, like Jeannie Oliva, she brought in a homeless man.
Oh yes, I saw that.
Oh, we all fell in love with him. Mark is his name. And she bought him a trumpet, and now he's playing beautiful music all over, and she's blown away. But she just met him on a park bench out in front of a store. And her heart was so big that she gravitated toward him. And now he has made a place in our hearts. We all want to help him. But can you imagine when his life will be? He's autistic. He thinks that he is going to be someone that brings truth to the world, and he believes it. So Sherry says acts of kindness and being the change is going to be what we are all going to be with On Passive. And so I want you to go and sign up for their programs, because you're going to get a lot of value out of them. I'm getting, even at my age, Chris Johnson he drives me nuts sometimes, and I want to hug him the next minute. He's absolutely fantastic emissary for Old Bless. He goes out there, his heart is bigger in Texas. He's literally adopted Papua New Guinea. Him and Marty DeGarmo, they have helped the people in Papua New Guinea. And I adore those people, like David Bakau. And the people of Papua New Guinea teach you how to survive at a level we haven't seen in the United States for a long time. These people are true survivors, and they rise up above great discrimination. And I find them so admirable in what they're doing. And Chris Johnson's part of PNG. He helps with PNG. In fact, he bought five founder positions for those in Papua New Guinea. And same with Mike Ojantambia. He buys founder positions for those that are needy. And Mike has already donated, I think, 5 or 6. And now Marty I got to talk about my Marty, if you don't mind. And Red Redfern, they're both darling people. I love them. Anyway, Marty is doing a giveaway on his live. I'm going to do a live after them too every day on Facebook. They're on my list this week too. I got hacked on Facebook, but I'm still going to do a live. And we can expect that. I want all of you to know we can expect to be hacked more. You can expect that people are going to be following you. You're going to get the haters out there. I don't care what you do. And so how we deal with them has to do with how we feel about yourself, because they can't hurt you unless you allow it. Yeah. And so we have to adopt an attitude is they're going to be there. Sherry said that she gifted 3 positions to Papua New Guinea herself. And I think that's See, that's what the unpassive people are all about. They're absolutely phenomenal. They are the change before it even starts changing, like you guys. And so we're going to interview every one of them. And we're going to let them tell us their ideas about what they want to see the change be, what it's going to be in the future. And she's right. That's why I love that woman, Sherry and Mike and those Marty. Marty has his show is on live on YouTube at Marty. You can go to Marty DeGarmo or Red Redford. Red Redford is before his, I think. His is at 11 to 12. Marty's is 12, and Marty's is getting so big. He's got 200 or 300 people at a time now. And he kind of goes over. He kind of goes into a whole hour. Before he didn't do it, but now it takes him a full hour to get through. But these are people. Marty's been giving away one founder position for the last 3 days on his lives.
Nice.
And so other people are donating to have positions on the lives if you just attend and you leave a comment. So they have a random generator that picks up the comments and picks out a winner. He doesn't do it. It's all done with a randomizer. So every day he's been giving away a founder position. He did yesterday. He's got another one today, and he's going to have another one. Milo, Milo from Julie and Milo's show.
Yes.
Milo donated a position to be given away at Sherry, me too. I'm not in a position to gift this year. I was last year, but not this year. Too much has happened. Sherry donated 5 to Jamaica. So she deserves a red star, a gold star. But there are people that are out there like us in droves and on passive, and nobody knows about it. They don't know. They say, well, how can you say you're not prejudiced? How can you say that you all get along? We don't all get along, but we are respectful of whoever is there. We might not get along with you. We might not even like your opinions. And I know a lot of people think I'm just mouthy old lady, but they never do anything to harm me. They don't badmouth me behind my back. They don't go behind it. I don't do that with anybody. I can be madder and hell out of them, still don't do it, So we are a unique collection of people. And you're fine examples, an asset to on passive. You were the first one I thought of in my group that I wanted to come forward, because they're going to get to know your face. They're going to get to know, like Sherry, what you're made of and what you can do for others. And that's even before the launch. God knows how great you're going to be after launch, So I'm looking for people like Sherry and you and me and those Mike and Marty and all of us to keep doing what we're doing, because Old Bless is going to be the backbone of On Passive. And the more we realize that compassion can be taught, the better off we're going to be in the future for all of us. I want to do water reclamation. I want to do solar and wind power. I want to be off the grid. I want to teach kids how to maintain windmills, things like that. So we all have things that we can do with on passive products that's going to change the face of the world. And here in the United States, I think that we are fortunate because of our, if nothing else, we've had the ability like to go shopping and buy things, and there's supermarkets on every corner. There's things that we've had in plenty. Sometimes we couldn't afford it, but it was still there, And I've been talking to people that have to make everything they got from scratch. Like some of the people in Papua New Guinea, they can't get health care, so they make their own medicine. And some of it's outright amazing. And their oils that they produce out. And I used to make soap, and I used to buy essential oils, and it cost a fortune.
Hydrosols.
And I used to make hydrosols. Yeah, everything. I'm going to go back to that. I'm going to do that again on the farm. Making hydrosols. Hydrosols are a very, very important thing. They're a product that is necessary after COVID, because 90% of the hydrosols I produced are hypoallergenic. They don't bother anything else. They're disinfectants. They're natural disinfectants and natural antibiotics. So hydrosols are going to become very important in the future. In France, they've got to be very, very big business.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to be looking at that later, because I like distilling. I like distilling plants and see what you can get out of them. I haven't made any booze yet, but I'm tempted to make some wine. The time I decided I was going to make wine, I'll tell you a funny story. The girlfriend and I were staying with my sister, and she lived in the city. So we went down to visit her. So my girlfriend and I decided we were going to make us some wine, because we had all this enormous amount of grapes that somebody had given to my sister. She says, well, you guys can give those away. And we thought, well, we're going to make wine. So we did. We put the wine, we all went well and good. We followed all the instructions. We put them in these big bottles, and we put them in the laundry room underneath things, where nobody had noticed them. They were big, big, big jugs. And so, I guess it was about 6 weeks. We didn't know that you didn't tamp those down real tight, We heard a kaboom, and it was like, we went running to the room, and there was big globs of grapes hanging from the ceiling. I mean, grape juice hanging from the ceiling, big white globs of stuff. That stuff had become explosive and blew up. And I said to myself, oh, dear God, we must have missed a point, I think I was 15 years old when we did that. But I did learn to make wine. When I got older, I used to make elderberry wine. And I made herbal wine, just for liqueurs and things like that. I don't do that anymore, but I used to. But my first adventure at wine making sure taught me that you've got to do more research before you get into wine. Oh, my sister had us in there in coveralls and stuff and brooms, and we had to clean up that stinking mess, and it was stinking too. We didn't even want to even think about wine ever. We never wanted any. If that's what it was when it came out, we didn't want any part of it. So a couple of farm girls learned their lesson real fast. But I laugh about that to this day, and so does my entire family, how I almost blew up a quarter of the house with wine. But anyway, that long story short, I think we're going to close tonight, because I know you're tired. Unless you want to tell me something that you got, that you wanted other people to know about you and what you're going to do, how they can get in touch with you, and what you can do. Let them know at least where they can get in touch with you on Facebook. If you have a Facebook account, Susan, you and
I have it, but I'm not active in it. But we have an email address. It's atop2win@gmail.com. It's ATOP, the number 2, and then win, WIN, @gmail.com.
Okay. So if any of you want to purchase a position or to become a founder in the next few days, email Philip and Susan or myself, either one, whoever's, whoever's in the loop, and we'll help you. We'll help you get started, and we'll help you get into the team acclimated about what On Passive is. And we've got a fine group. I am so proud that you're part of my team, Susan and Philip, and anybody that you bring in is going to help me. You know, that's how good this is. It all filters down. If your teammates bring people in, it helps the group in whole. You know, so it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, and we're going to find out. I'm going to start going over more and more products with each
Sounds good.
little
Each
thing that
webinar.
we have going, you know. And I'm going to go and I'm going to try to interview along with you guys' help a new person every week that's in our team and it's in our downline and our family and in the group in whole that has not become visible. I want them to become visible. That's my goal. The real effective people that I know that are out there that are like even you know, you're advertising on your car and you're advertising in your neighborhood and everything. I want everybody to know about you. And so the way we do it is they see your faces, they become familiar with you. And even after we launch, that's going to be a way that we can bring customers to our camp too. You know, it's not just for recruiting. We're not recruiting, we're sharing with whoever we love.
Yeah.
And I want to continue to do that as long as I'm in On Passive.
Sounds great.
You know, so I thank you so much for your patience tonight. I was so embarrassed I wanted to blow up Zoom. Got out of there. I still don't know what was wrong, but they had an update. Jason told me, and I didn't listen to him. They had an update. Mothers do that, you know. And it didn't, I think it did something with, you might want to look in your Zoom and see if they've got major changes that you're not familiar with, you know. And it would let me stream to Facebook, but there was something wrong with the multiple streaming, you know.
Well, I think Sherry's the one who said it, Mercury retrograde.
I think so too. Well, really, it could be the brain of an 81-year-old that drifts away when it was most important. You know, I missed the point somewhere, but I'm going to go and I'm going to get it worked out. I don't really care whether I use Zoom or not. I mean, I just am not. If I can get up to 6 people at a time on the panel with Restream, and I think I would much rather do that because they're a nicer group of people to work with. As soon as I find out what I'm doing with this, it's going to be very good. You can change your advertisement on it. You can change your background, and I'll teach you how to do that before you come on next week. It's real simple. It's got in their back office, they have a studio, and it's got brand settings, and you can even upload your logos and your brand names and everything. If you're, Ash told us to work on our branding, not only On Passive, but our individual branding. And I have developed logos already through Adobe. And I'm going to start doing it more with all my other accounts that I have. I want to have, you're going to have different domain names. You should have them associated with what account logo that you're going to be using. So we'll get into discussing things like the products, how we're going to use them, the people that are involved with using them. Like I want to talk to your daughter. I want to talk to Marsha's children, my kids, and Sherry's, and Jennifer, and everybody. I want them to have a voice. I want them to come on and talk to me, and we'll laugh and joke and talk, and maybe we won't do everything perfect, but we will be here, and Ash will know how hard we're trying. That's what I wanted to meet you specifically, Phil and Susan, because, and your sister Marsha, she had to get up at 3:00 this morning to go to work.
Yeah.
She has a heart as big as Texas. You know, she just is such a good girl. And I want her involved too as soon as we can, because she's been so loyal to me she joined about the same time you did, you know, 3 years ago We were all in this together. So there are people that I want to bring on that really have not been on any of the other webinars, you know. And so I want them to have a voice. I want them to have a face and let everybody know what they're doing. So if you approve of this kind of venue, everybody like Sherry and Jennifer, I wish you'd spread the word about us and share our link, because next I'm going to be on time. I'm going to be there at 11 o'clock, and where we can talk to different people. I think more went home than stayed. We couldn't get started, and so because I had all kinds of emails. Where are you? Where are you?
Well, this was a test run.
Yeah, another test run. This is the third one now for me. But you know, all those failures, you learn something from them, so it's okay. But I love you. Jason, are you still with us, honey boy? He's probably went to sleep. I'll kill him. If you don't know, Jason's my son, Sherry and Jennifer. He's a nice man. Doesn't that make you feel good when you see your growing kids and you say to yourself, I must have done something right when I was, you know, struggling, because I have such nice kids. I mean, they're not kids anymore. Nice people who went out in the world and all they care about is helping somebody else. You know, we couldn't have been too bad of parents. You know, when we stopped to think of that. You know,
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, I love you guys, and I'm gonna shut this down. You come back with all the ideas you have and send them to me, any of you, and I will incorporate them into our shows. We'll get the projects that you want to talk about on the shows, and we'll talk about them. And we'll start with people first, and then we'll work on different products and everything. And so I think it'll work out good, especially with your guidance, Susan and Phil. I can't go wrong. You sit there so patiently, and I told my husband, I said, oh, I'm so embarrassed. I said, God. And he says, well, you've done worse things. And I said, thanks so much. Go to the room. So I love you both, and I thank you for being Sherry, sweetheart. You're next, honey. I want you on. She's probably good. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to do this. No, I want you to tell other people your story, Sherry. And Jennifer, you too. I hope you come in and want to get on the show and talk. All of you. I think Jennifer went to bed, but I love you all, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm gonna find out how to get out of here. See, I'm stalling because I'm looking at all these buttons and I don't know how to stop the screen.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Night.
Thank you.
Good night, loves.